welcome to another video from your favorite English school, English Solutions for Business and Life. Today we're going to be covering Unit 8 for your Market Leader book and you, pre-intermediate student. The name of the unit is Marketing, and this time around we will be covering the grammar. Are you ready? Let's begin. Today you'll learn about questions review. We're going to check different types of questions and how we formulate them. We have three examples here, such as, are you in a meeting? Are you in a meeting? Does she qualify? Does she qualify? I'm going to explain this a little later. And another one, have you been trained on this? Have you been trained on this? Alright. Let's start. Before we continue, we have some reminders, some important notes you want to take before we check the structure of questions. The first one is, the auxiliary determines the tense. Yes? Whether if it is will, if it is do, or if it is did. They normally tell us what tense it is, so forget wills for the future, do is for the present, and did is for the past. Another thing, a verb changes depending on the auxiliary. So it's very important to memorize and practice a lot what kind of verb you need depending on the auxiliary. For example, with will, we use a verb in simple form. With do, we use a verb in simple form, and with did, we use a simple form. However, if we use have, we will need a verb in past participle. These are only reminders and things that you have seen before. This should not be completely new to you. Alright, now the next note is most questions follow the same formula. The same formula that I'm going to show you is basically the same for all the questions you formulate in the English language. So, if you memorize, it will be very easy for you to formulate questions in the future. Okay, now don't forget that there are two types of questions, the yes-no type and the information type. This is for the yes-no type. Everything that is in parentheses is, well, not optional completely, but it depends on the auxiliary. And I will give you an example. Then the general question formula, it will be the following. We need an auxiliary. It can be do, will, can, could, should, etc., etc. We have the subject. Who are we talking about? You, he, she, it, Carlos, Alejandro, Robert, William, etc. And the verb in simple form, in past, in ing form, etc, etc. And finally we have the complement, that extra part of the question that completes the idea. Okay, I'm going to erase it. So I have two examples. One in which we use a verb and the other one in which we don't. Okay, so the first example is, do you have a car? Do is our auxiliary, you is our subject, have is our verb, and a car is our complement. In the second one, are you happy? Notice that there is no verb. Why? Because our verb, let me put quotation mark, our verb is right here, the verb to be. The verb to be, we use it to provide descriptions. Description, am I happy or sad? Tall or short? Okay? But if you notice, the same formula is followed. Are, it is a verb, yes, the verb to be, but it is also an auxiliary. So we have the auxiliary, we have the subject, and then we have our complement. In the other one, we have our auxiliary, we have our subject, we have our verb, this time verb in simple form, and we have our complement. Okay, here we have another couple of examples. Are we getting a Christmas bonus? Are we getting a Christmas bonus? Notice that the same formula is followed. Auxiliary, subject, verb, complement. This time around, since we have the auxiliary to be, and we're talking about an action, not in progress, but we're using simple present, present continuous for the future, that's why we need a verb plus ing. Here it is. The second example, have we met before? Now, notice again that the same formula is followed. Auxiliary, subject, verb, complement. Have we met before? This time around, the verb is in past participle, as I mentioned before. Met. Let's move on. We have another set of examples, and I hope that we can also label them. And you will notice that it doesn't matter the tense, the formula is the same. Number 1, does she qualify for deposition? Does she qualify for deposition? Qualify means if she, in this case he, if he has enough skills, abilities, qualifications for this position, for this job. Like a possible answer can be no, he doesn't, he needs to finish his studies, or he needs more experience. Or it can be yes, he's a very experienced person. Okay, the second one, are you seeing any error messages or error message on your screen? This when you're in front of the computer and we get a pop-up window giving us an error. Okay, number 3, has she sent any memos today? Memos is like some kind of report. And the last one, is your car brand new? Is your car brand new? Question is, brand new is like coming right from the agency, from the dealer. Alright, now let's analyze this. Are we following the same formula? We have an auxiliary, does, are, has, and is. So yes, the answer is yes. Do we have a subject? He, you, she, your car. Yes, we have a subject. So do we have a verb? Yes, we do, in different forms, by the way. Qualify, simple form. Seeing, ing form. Sent, past participle form. And in this case, since we're talking about a description, we do not have a verb. Do we have a complement? For the position, yes. Any error message on your screen? Yes. Any memos today? Yes. And brand new? Yes. Alright, let's move on to the next one. Okay, our next part of the video is complete and short answers. There are different ways we can answer a question. For example, does she qualify for the position? This type of question, we can have different ways we can answer it. We can answer the complete form. Yes, she qualifies for the position. Notice that little tip note here. This time around we have qualifies with an S because of the absence of the S in does. So that's why we need it. We have the short answer. Yes, she does. Notice that we used the exact same auxiliary we used in the question. The question is with does, the short answer is with does. The question is with is, the short answer is with is, etc., etc. Or we can also give our opinion. So short answer was that, and opinion can be, oh, I think she has good possibilities. Or the opposite, I think she needs to prepare herself more, etc., etc. Okay, now information questions. This is a formula, and it's pretty much the same as the previous one. However, okay, now let's move on. Now, we're keeping with the formula for information questions. So we have the exact same, but we have in the beginning our question word. So the formula is question word, auxiliary, subject, verb, complement. For example, where did you study your PhD? PhD, don't forget that stands for philosophy, doctorate in philosophy, or a more advanced, the most advanced type of studies you can have after the university. We have the master's degree and then the PhD degree. Okay, let's follow some examples here. How many employees did he let go in September? How many employees did he let go? Let go means fire. How many did he have to get rid of or not terminate their contract? Next example, what are we doing after the meeting? What are we doing after the meeting? Next example, what department are you most worried about? What department are you most worried about? This is a question we can ask a manager. Departments are like the finance department, this marketing department, etc., etc. Next question, why haven't you asked the boss for permission? Why haven't you asked the boss for permission? Okay, so now let's analyze and see whether or not we have the right elements in the correct order. Now, we have how, what, and why. That is our question word. Well, actually, we have how many? All right. Now, do we have a subject? Sorry, an auxiliary. We certainly do. Did, are, and haven't. Notice that in example number 1 and example number 3, we have another word. We have a noun this time around. This is common. How many employees, how many cars, how many brothers, what car, what department, what cell phone, etc. And we have a subject after that. Yes, we do. We have we have you, and you. So yes, we have this same order in all of them. Do we have a verb after this? Yes, we do. Let, simple form, doing, ing form. Most worried about. We don't have a verb here. Why is that? Because we're talking about a description. To be worried. That is the description, or in this case, the verb. In this case, the auxiliary are is both an auxiliary and a verb. The last one. Why haven't you asked the boss for permission? Asked. There's our verb. Do we have a complement? Go in September, after the meeting, most worried about, and the boss for permission. Okay, more notes about asking question. Well, notice that the longer the question, the more formal it normally is. When you ask a short question, sometimes it is too direct, or maybe a little harsh. Another note is make sure you don't come across as impolite or uninterested. When we provide a short answer, a too short answer, we can show maybe that we are not being polite or that we are not interested in the conversation. Let me give you a couple of examples here. Number 1, where's the Hilton Hotel? This is if you ask directly, especially of a person that you owe a lot of respect to or a person you don't know, this could be a little disrespectful or impolite. However, if you ask, can you tell me where the Hilton Hotel is located? This is much better, especially for people you don't know, because you are inserting an expression. In another lesson, we will learn how this changes here, where the Hilton Hotel is located. You can see there is no question formula here. The question formula is right here. Can you tell me? But we're not going to overanalyze this right now. The last example would be very polite. Maybe you would not need to use it, but you can. Would you be so kind to inform me where the Hilton Hotel is located? So notice the longer the question, the more formal it is. Okay, now we're talking about the answers. Depending on your answer and your intonation and your intention, you will either have successful, what can I call it? A successful conversation, or a conversation that is friendly, totally, or formal. Now, the question, is this a good place to have lunch? It also depends on who asks you. If it is somebody you don't know, or a new coworker, or your boss, answering yes it is. Yes it is it could be very disrespectful or impolite, because you're completely finishing or cutting the conversation or the communication. It's communication is the word I want to use. If you say only I don't know, the same story. Maybe it will not be very impolite saying I don't know, but it seems like if you only answer that, it seems that you don't want to continue with the conversation. However, if you say yes it is, I recommend you try whatever dish or whatever drink. It's better because you are interested in the question, you show interest, and you're also providing extra information. Same story if you say, I don't know, but my coworkers say, and the same story. You're providing more information, maybe a short story, indicating that you are interested or that you want to really help the person with their question. Alright, let's move on now. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching this video. This one was a little longer than the others. Just make sure you pay a lot of attention to those changes in questions. And don't forget that practice will make you a master. Practice correctly and you will get it right very quickly. Thank you very much. Goodbye. See you in our next video.